So we're live here, Helder here, coming live to you from Toronto, Canada. I have a very special guest today. Some of you actually know her, some of you do not really know her, but you'll get to know her as she actually introduces herself in a few minutes. Because we still have a minute, I'll be running a quick pre-show, so you can wait.
Helder, the mentor is your man. With Helder.
Helder Filipe. Anybody who can listen to him, work with him, learn from him, it's going to change their life.
Helder Filipe.
So we're back here. With our very special guest, Kewana McDonald. As you guys will get the opportunity to know her, to meet her, as she will introduce herself. Please welcome me. Not welcome me. Actually, welcome Kewana, right? I was kidding. Hey, Kewana, how you doing today?
Doing well, Helder. I'm doing well. It's good to be on your show finally.
Oh, yeah. So, Kewana, thank you so much for being here. I know it's going to be a very interesting conversation that we're going to have. We met, I think it was not last year, it was in 2023, right?
Yeah.
But I know that my audience is, wow. But I know my audience is actually, very curious to know about you, like to learn more about you, like who are you? What do you do? Like, what do you offer the world, Kewana? Can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. So I'm Kewana McDonald, and I am a growth consultant and operational strategist. So pretty much what I offer to the world is, many people, when they consider growing their business, they're like, I need more revenue. I need more money to come in. And then guess what they do, Helder? They pull their hair out because now they have to fulfill.
Wow.
So I help businesses grow holistically. So not just with the revenues coming in, but on the fulfillment side, so you can retain and continue to scale in a healthful way. So that's where I come in.
Well, that's amazing, because we have to realize that we do have different entrepreneurs all over the world, right? Despite of the language they actually communicate, but the thing is that it's always a challenge, right? Like building a solid career is a challenge. Building a solid and very well structured business is also a challenge, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely. And just to let you know, so I went to school to try and find these answers. Okay,
wow.
In high school, I was telling someone, I said I got an award. I didn't even know they gave these out. Okay, but it was a surprise to me. I got an award for taking every business elective possible from my high school.
Wow.
I was like, that's a thing. And I didn't even know I did that. I was searching for answers. I then went on and got my Bachelor's of Science degree in International Business. And then I went on to get my Global MBA.
Wow.
And I couldn't find what I was looking for. You know where I found it, Helder?
Tell me. Well, tell us, actually.
I found all of it in scripture, believe it or not. When I couldn't find it, and I'm not saying that I didn't learn a lot along the way, but it wasn't until I started to just search through the scriptures and I said, wow, the world has yet to catch up to the genius in this book, okay? So many things, as I was building out, I have a proprietary model I use to structure businesses. But as I was building out and discovering these principles, I would test them on, they didn't understand they were test dummies. That's okay. I was testing out on clients that, when I was doing it part-time, I would test it out on them. They were like, what are you doing? And, we're taught, we can't say, well, if you look in this scripture over here in Genesis or over here in Nehemiah, you can't do that.
Right.
So I was just, it's just my proprietary way. Right? That's what you have to do. And so recently, I think it was around 2023 when you met me, I decided, I really felt led that I needed to share this with the world because I recognized early that, you know, business owners need this. The small business failure rate
Right.
gets higher and higher the longer people are in business. Like the first year, only 20% may fail. But within the first 5 years, that jumps to about 50%. And then by the time you get to close to 10 years in business, 80%. What's happening?
Right.
Why? And it's because there's so many developmental factors that have to be taken into consideration at the different stages of business that people are not aware of, right? So
Right.
it's kind of like when a baby is walking or learning to walk, because we know that they're going to learn to walk, when they fall down, we're not like, oh no, it's the end of the world. We're going to, like, you know, we expect it.
Right,
We're like,
right.
this is the development. It's going to happen. They're going to get up. We're going to dust them off. We're going to keep moving. Well, because business owners don't understand those developmental milestones and how to get over it and how to move through them, they pull their hair out, they quit, or they get burnt out, or they, you know, so then they have the business failure rate.
They give it up, right?
They give it up.
Wow.
We don't need to do that. The answers are here. We have the answers.
I know you do. I know you do. It actually brings us to the next, actually, first question, you know, if we want to consider that as a question,
Sure.
which is, I think everybody's actually waiting to learn more about it. What is an ideal way to build a business in 2025? I want to make sure everybody can actually see the question correctly before you start answering, okay? Because I think like most entrepreneurs, and not only entrepreneurs, like people in general, like if they work in a job, you know, they want to, you know, start a like entrepreneurial like career or journey, and they want to know, they want to learn more about it. Like, okay, what is it like I have to do in order to really build a business, build a team, you know, in order to like have a sustained like business structure, you know, sustainable business structure, and make sure that after a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm not just gonna say, well, I give up, like I don't want to do it anymore, or something like that, you know.
Right. Absolutely. So I can share the template that I found in scripture with you. And just to qualify,
Right.
you know, I have myself tested this template in many different ways. And in fact, in 2023, one of my clients, I saved them $21 million worth of contracts.
Wow. 21? You mean
21 million.
Wow, my goodness.
in 2024, just last year, when we just ended last year, so I got my numbers in, we were able to help clients get $19 million.
Wow.
Extra.
19
million, that's right.
Wow.
Like this is not for play. So it's gonna seem simple when I share it.
It's not braggadocio, right? I know, I got you.
Right. So here we go. I use Genesis chapter 1 as my template. So I'm gonna go through really quickly.
Okay.
And then we can unpack however you want to unpack after that. Okay, Helder?
Sure.
So, in the beginning, Genesis chapter 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And that word God in the old language is Elohim. That word is plural. So when you read in the beginning, God created, sometimes someone could think, oh, it's just God, one person, right? Because it didn't say gods with an S.
Right.
That's actually plural. And that stood for God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. All three of them, they each had a role. God the Father was like the visionary.
Okay.
God the Son was the implementer. Like it says it in John, how not anything was made but by him. He was the word that became flesh. And so when God used his word to create everything, that word was the implementation. That was Jesus. Then we have the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was like the evaluator. Because in the next verse it said, and you know, it talked about how and God moved upon, the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters when it was darkness and chaos. Why? Because he was evaluating the situation.
Right.
Seeing what's going on to see what we can do to get this into some order, right?
Right.
So they each had a role. And I always tell entrepreneurs who like to start off as solopreneurs, God himself didn't do it himself.
Yeah. That's deep, you know.
We really shoot ourselves in the foot. We really cut this. We create a ceiling when we do not have people with us building out our thing. That concept of solopreneur, I totally reject. You need you as a visionary. You're the one with the great idea. You're the one trying to put in. You also need an implementer, someone who will actually do the implementation so that you can continue to focus on the things you need to, right? And then you need an evaluator. This is where mentorship comes in. And this is what I tell them, you know, I know it seems like, I tell them you need to hire a good mentor.
Right.
Now, my clients, they hire me because I'm able to be that mentorship and consultant and all that for their growth strategies and operational strategies and things of that nature, right? But you need to have a good mentor so that the mentor can help make sure that your vision and how you're implementing it really will be the most effective, right? It's like having, let's go back to the baby when they're learning to walk, and sometimes you put them in walkers, or sometimes we let them hold on to things. That's what a good mentor or consultant, that's what they will do for you.
Right.
So when you're starting, just having these three, you can make 6 figures easy.
Wow.
What's amazing is,
Kewana, is that part of what you're gonna teach on your upcoming challenge?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go in.
Let me just show them a little bit about what you have to share, like, with them, like if they really want to like learn more, and so they can actually know better to do better. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna be sharing the QR code anyway, so people can actually scan. You know, like, it doesn't matter if they're watching right now, like live, or if they're gonna be watching the recording. The most important thing is that you guys have access to the right information, which is something that really makes all the difference. The right information and the right mentor, right?
Right. Absolutely. Question for, like, and I want to ask them a question, like, how many of you as business owners, or even if you're a high level work, how many of you have an assistant to help with your implementation? How many of you are still doing everything?
Right.
Yourself.
That's a great point. Yeah.
You
Yeah, that's like very important, right?
It's about where you're going in your business if you're stuck in the weeds. How can you be the drone that sees the top down view of what's going on in your forest of trees, where the tree, if you're on boots on the ground looking up and the trees are, but like, you can't.
Right.
You can't. You need someone that's an extension of you to do that. So we start there. That right there. And what makes this so powerful? 80% of businesses do make less than $100,000 a year.
Why is that?
What that tells me, they've created for themselves a job.
Right.
With a salary.
Yeah.
Now they have to pay extra taxes.
I told some of my mentees about it. Yeah, I told them some of them about it, because we have like different people, like they actually get to the entrepreneurship like journey, but we're still with the mindset of an employee. They don't have the business owner mindset, the entrepreneur mindset. They still have like, okay, this is like a new job, you know, just like you mentioned, right? Okay, now I have a new job. I got to do everything by myself. You know, I have to be aware of everything. So I have a hard time in order to delegate, you know. So that's like, we also talk about the leadership right here, right? The leadership skills, right?
Yeah, we're gonna. So you have those three, right?
Right.
From there, those three will help you pretty much build out your business blueprint. Coach on that as well, what a true blueprint is, because a business plan I know that that's what everyone talks about. I need to create a business plan. I need to do a business plan. A business plan is trash. I hate to say it. I'm so sorry, but let's just be honest. Can we put it out there on the table?
All the time. That's what we're about, right? Remember,
Listen,
we gotta keep our integrity. Like, we have to tell the truth. That's it. And I love
we
that.
don't make enough stuff on the business plan because you don't know.
Right.
You're just making it up. You're like, we project to bring in X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
On what basis?
Yeah.
You know, like, we're just making it up, and we're
Right.
hoping that someone believes us.
Mm.
That's what the business plan does. That is not going to help you build out. That's not a blueprint. A blueprint is very strategic. It's very calculated. It's very like it's hard. And the concept of that blueprint came from the fact that God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, right?
Right.
But before he started executing, he knew what he was going to do each day.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knew on day one, he was only going to create light. That's why when he said, let there be light, and then it was created, he said it was good. Evening and the morning, day is done.
Wow.
He didn't say, okay, I have a little more time, let me do this. He didn't have to. Why? Because he knew from jump, that's all I'm doing that day. He had an assigned task for each day, and none of them leaked over into the following day. Oh, I didn't get to finish that, so let me finish it tomorrow. Very strategic, very planned out, very solid blueprint.
And with focus, right? With the
And
focus.
purpose.
Yeah.
And focus.
Right.
Absolutely. People need that. Your business needs that, right? So you build that out. Then you day one was light, your vision, what that's supposed to look like, all the things, putting that into place. Day two, he made the firmament.
Mm.
The firmament is nothing but protection.
Right.
It's the sky, but it protects from whatever is in the atmosphere, you know, in space, outer space, and the earth. Like asteroids don't just come and smash into us. I
Right.
mean, you know, they come, but they burn out. Or what? But the atmosphere protects us.
Mm.
Helder, I want to ask your folk a question. You're hiring people.
I can see the comments here, like on YouTube. We live on YouTube, right? Yeah, you can ask the question. They're gonna be answering.
They're gonna put it in the comments.
Right.
So you're hiring people. You have maybe intellectual property. You have other business assets. Are those protected?
Mm.
Let me tell you, I have spoken to business owners that come. They're my clients.
Right.
And I'm like, so where are your employment contracts? Where are and they're just like, oh, well, I just brought something off of, I just downloaded a template and used that. I'm like, so it hasn't legally reviewed. So if you have a disgruntled employee later,
right,
pretty much saying you're squat. And let me tell you what I get. Oh, I've been doing this for years. It's not going to be a problem. Oh, it's not a problem until it's a problem.
Right. And that's the thing, that they have like the cup so full that they cannot actually even learn more, right? They don't have the capacity. Well, some of them, right? It's not everyone, but some of them, they don't really have the capacity to empty their cup, empty their mind, and the ability to actually learn more, so they can actually know better, so to do better, right?
Well, that's because they're too busy in the weeds. We got to free them from the weeds. You got to get out of the weeds. If you're still a solopreneur, get you a mentor and get you an assistant right off the bat.
You're right.
Okay, so that's day two. Day three, the systems that were planned out were now built. You had the trees, the grass, and he created the system. The seed within itself gets planted and springs up another tree in its likeness. Like, that's a system. That's the system of growth.
Right.
That's the system of, abundance. That's the system that's going to let the business run. So you have to make sure that the three of you can build that out, right? But then here is where the rubber meets the road.
Wow.
People have their systems. They created all the things. You know what they start doing? They start hiring. They're like, okay, now I'm going to hire someone to do this and someone to do that. And it's usually because they're like, I'm not good at it, so I need to hire someone to do it. That's what usually drives. So am I right?
Oh yeah, you are.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna hire someone else to do it. Like that's how people hire, whether it's a contract or whether it's an employee, that's how they hire. And I'm here to tell you, you gotta be careful. Because the first level of hiring needs to be on the management level.
Exactly.
And folk are like
the head first, right?
What they're ready to hire the team member first that doesn't have any managerial experience. And they're like, why do I need managers now when I don't have anyone to manage? And I'll explain why. So the sun, moon, and stars, those were the managers in Genesis chapter 1. They ruled the day, they ruled the night, you know. They were the rulers, they were the managers to manage everything. After that, God created animals, sea creatures, all of that in day 5 and day 6. Do you notice that the circadian rhythm of the animals are tied to the sun? And this, like, do you notice that they're tied? So what happens is if you hire team members first, and then you try to bring management into the mix afterward, you're breaking the circadian rhythm between you and the team because they're used to dealing with you. You're bringing in another management, there's going to be a rub, and you're going to end up having turnover where you're going to have to hire new people. I am seeing this all the time. Wow. And this is the area where people pull back and say, it doesn't work, I can't delegate, I can't, it's a mess. It's a mess because it's been the wrong hiring order.
Okay.
That's why it's a mess. Okay?
Right.
That's why it's a mess. And so I always say you got to hire management level, because if you at least hire on the management level, let's say you don't build out a more, exponential team. Managers can still do the work. But what's beautiful is if you want to continue to grow it and you want to take those opportunities and you hire a team underneath the managers with their help, you don't have to train those new team members. The managers know it inside and out. They understand the systems. They understand your vision. They can train them. All you have to do is
they can train you. Yeah, they can train the team, right? Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
They can train the team, right?
They can train the team and then free you up.
Yeah, so you don't get like overwhelmed like for no reason, right? Like you can actually delegate to someone, like in this case, a manager who actually understands and knows everything, like from like in out and everything. So they can actually also like transfer what they have already learned from you, like to the new team member, and making sure the operations actually still run smoothly. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely.
Good.
So you want to hire the management, then the team members, and then.
By the way, I want to ask the audience right now. Like I see we have a few people here. Like I want to make sure they can actually hear us and see us properly. Can you guys confirm? Well, I cannot see who's watching right now live. We have shared like like in different platforms. Even though we only live on the YouTube channel, I just want to make sure because I can see the comments here. If they make a comment, if they can actually hear and see us properly. I believe so, because otherwise they could have, made a comment already here that they could not listen to us properly. Okay, we keep going. So Kewana, are you done with the list?
Right, the whole template. So I'll wrap it up with this. So you have your team members, you have your managers.
Yeah.
At the end, day 6, at the end of day 6, God does his amazing creation of human. He creates Adam, he creates Eve. When you've built out your business and you're really trying to exit in a smooth way, now you have to look for the CEO that is going to take your business and take it to the next level and continue to multiply it. The beautiful thing is you want to find a CEO that's in your image, someone that would rule the way you would rule over your business, right? And if you do that well, then your exit will be very smooth. Very, very smooth. So you can see in the template of just Genesis how this is an ideal.
By the way, we have a comment now here. Sorry, no audio for the last 5 minutes. That's Jill. Gil, can you confirm you can still hear us? I got my phone here. I can also check, even though it's going to be a little bit noisy here. You just want to make sure. Okay, hold on. Okay, it should be okay right now. Well, things happen, right? Can you hear us now? Just want to understand what's going on exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of useless if you're sharing so much information here, great information here, and people cannot actually hear. Well, worst case scenario, we do have backup of backup, so we'll be fine.
Right.
Okay. You keep going while we're waiting for people to make a comment if they can actually hear us properly. I believe they still can. Okay, but just go ahead. We want to hear from you.
No problem. So that's how you would now exit. Now, in between all those stages, there's so much that goes involved. There's so much involved with getting all of these things rightly in place.
Okay.
And there's so many small intricacies, but that's the overall idea. If you find yourself being a solopreneur with a whole bunch of team members that are just you hired because they know how to do something you don't know how to do, and you missed out on getting a good mentor, having some middle management and having an executive assistant, which is different than just a team. Like if you missed out on those, we got to fill in those gaps because you're stunting your growth. You're literally stunting your growth, and you don't recognize it.
Okay.
And these are just aligning companies with this template. They have either saved millions or gained millions.
Why should they hire a mentor at first place?
Oh, well, the same way you put a baby in a walker.
Exactly.
Listen, why stumble and fumble your way
right
through doing? Because a baby, I love using this because it's like your business feels like your baby. It really does.
That's a baby, all right? 24/7. Right.
So think about it. When you have your baby and your baby is learning to walk, what are you doing? You're standing there.
Yeah.
You want to catch them.
You get them. They're back. Yeah.
Encouraging them.
Right.
You're helping them to recognize that they can.
You're actually monitoring like the baby all the time. Like just make sure the baby's gonna be fine, right?
And you've modeled walking for them a few times. You hold their hand in walking. All the things. That's what a mentor is there for.
Yeah.
Because if a baby had to figure it out on its own, we're not saying they wouldn't.
Right.
I promise it would take so much longer with a lot more bruises.
Mentors save people like considerable amount of time, right? The learning curve.
Time and money. Time and money, which
is
important for your business.
Sure.
You need a certain amount of momentum quickly
to
go past the inertia of taking off in your company. And two, you need the funds for it. A lot of people say, well, small businesses fail because of a lack of funds. No, it's not even necessarily lack of funds. It's the misuse of funds.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the funds are going down the drain in mistakes that could have been avoided if they had a mentor.
I think it actually brings us back to the be, do, and have. Right? Because they're not the person they're supposed to be, but they still feel like, okay, I have to have something, have the money and time. But what you're going to do with the money and time if you're not the person who you actually supposed to be, like the person who's capable, actually, filled with skills, in order to perform. People actually, I think people struggle a little bit to understand this point, because some of them think that I don't really need a mentor. Do I need a mentor? It doesn't matter if I'm building my business or like if I want to scale my career. If you could share a little bit more about it, like the importance of having a mentor. Yeah.
What tends to happen to all of us as humans?
Yeah.
We have a very inflated view about our abilities. And I have to be careful how I say this.
Sure.
Because it's not that we're not amazing
at
what we're amazing at.
Mm.
But that's just it. We're amazing at what we are amazing at, but we're really not at what we're not.
Right.
And I've heard a lot of people say, well, if I could do this well, I could do anything, which is very true. We have the capability of doing anything and excelling at it. However, walking from here, if I were to try and walk from where I am in New York to Japan,
Right.
do you see the problem? Do you see the problem? One would say, well, you can start walking, sure, but I would probably get as far as to the coast of the United States.
While you're explaining, let me just make sure they can see the image that we have here. That's a bridge. Oh yeah.
Right. And there is no bridge from that coast all the way over to Japan. So believe it or not, there are limitations we will hit without having a mentor. The mentor will be like the plane that will carry you safely across the crazy seas of sharks and all that kind of stuff to get there. Now you can figure it out and build yourself a boat. You can figure it out. Like, there are many ways you can figure it out and get to Japan. But why not leverage a plane? Why not leverage people who have done it before over and over and over again? Why take your time to figure it out? You're literally stunting your momentum and your growth. It doesn't compute.
This is one of the reasons why, like, when I'm mentoring my mentees, or if I'm doing like in private consultation, I always ask, almost always, I ask them, how much is your time worth? Because they think like they have all the time in this life. Oh, I can just, take my time. I can learn everything I want to do. Like, if I don't do, if I'm not good at this thing, I can still learn by myself. I can just do pretty much everything by myself. So I don't even need a mentor. Most people think like that.
Well, and then it doesn't help that there's YouTube.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, DIY on YouTube, that will get me through it, no problem. I have to share the secret.
Go ahead.
What happens? This is what happens when you go on YouTube.
Yeah.
You go on YouTube to learn the thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, now I know how to do it. Intellectually, I know how to do it. What tends to happen is when you start now doing what they told you to do on YouTube, you get stuck. You have a question. And now you got to go back on another YouTube and you're trying to piece it together.
Which is time consuming.
A library of YouTube videos on this topic.
Right.
And you're stuck. That's what happens. You get stuck. That's where your mentor comes in.
Exactly.
Yeah. You didn't have to do all that. If you had a mentor, he could have told you from A to B to C to D, all the way to Z, and all your questions are getting unstuck. You get stuck in the implementation, because it's not until you start applying the principles that you recognize the holes of understanding that you have.
Right.
That you come to the table with. And that's why you have to become the person where those holes are filled in order to do the thing properly, and then you get to have. So that is why, yeah, you really need a mentor. YouTube can get you but so far. Google ChatGPT even, which I think is a great tool.
Yeah.
ChatGPT can get you far, but it won't. There are holes and areas of questions you need answered. And if you don't even have the question, you're like, this is great enough, you're gonna end up being reactionary when things go left. When things go left, you're gonna be like, oh, I wouldn't have known that would have happened. No, you wouldn't have, because you didn't have a mentor to let you know, I'd be careful about this because you didn't put this or this in place, and that's gonna cause this to happen. So for instance, one of my clients, I said to them, because they came to, they said, I'm bringing in some management, and before they continued, I said, wait, you're going to bring in management over your team members, and they were only dealing with you? I said, automatically there's going to be a rub. You need to start preparing for a turnover. You're going to end up having to hire new people. And they're just like, wait, what? And sure enough, that's what happened. And I said, because a mentor will tell you, because of this, you think, oh, I'll just hire middle management. I could do that. I hired them. I know how to hire new people. I'll just hire new people. And then you behave reactionary. You go to the manager. Why are people quitting? Or you go to the manager. They were working fine with me. Why are they not working fine with you? Then you think it's the manager's fault.
Yeah.
And you're like, the manager doesn't know how to manage. You fire the manager. You can't build. Now you can't trust. I have to do all the things. But if you have a mentor,
You just get frustrated. Yeah. You know, someone who's been there. Yeah, someone who's been there, done that, because most people think, okay, you know what? I'm really smart. I'm really intelligent. Do I really need a mentor? And my question to those people thinking about it like this way, I mean, I'll say, well, do you really think that you actually experienced enough? Have you ever been there, like done that successfully? So you already know like how to predict the outcome and do things properly, like in very strategic way. Like people don't really have these answers, and they still think that okay, having a mentor is some sort of luxury or something like that, something they don't really need, right? Yeah.
It is very necessary, because whenever you're trying to do something new, you want to. So can I share this with you?
Sure.
So when a plant is created from a seed, the seed goes underground and creates the root systems. You don't see that part, like with the naked eye. I mean, we know what's happening because of science nowadays, but you don't see what happens underneath there, right?
Right.
Before the shootling comes up and then it turns into a tree or whatever, before all of that happens above the ground, there's a lot of work that happens underground.
Mm-hmm.
That underground work is a very humbling work. It's in a dark place. It's very difficult. It's very, but it's a stretching zone. It's where you're building your roots and your foundation.
Okay.
Many people try to shortcut that type of hard work.
Right.
They just want to show the success, show the fruit, all the things. Believe it or not, seeds go through different phases in order to grow the roots and then grow the tree. A mentor understands that.
Right.
They understand the newness of the tree you're trying to create. So while you're in the darkness, while you're underground, while you're doing all the things and your mentor is beside you,
yeah.
When you recognize, okay, this is just part of the stages. Okay, I'm going to fall a few times while I'm learning to walk. Okay, I'm going to stumble over my words a few times while I'm learning to talk. Okay, I'm going to, and once you understand that this is normal, this is developmental, this is like, it actually helps you move and propel faster as opposed to being paralyzed. Like, why is it not working? Oh, what I learned on YouTube is fake because it doesn't work. No, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that you have holes that you don't understand.
Right. Missing pieces, right?
Don't get me wrong. I know there's scams out there.
I know.
We know this. You got to do your due diligence.
Which is why you have your upcoming challenge, right? You want to help entrepreneurs, like business owners, like to fulfill like these gaps, right?
Yes. I am over
the
scams. Like, let me tell you. I remember when I was doing something years ago on a YouTube channel, and I wanted to grow the channel. And you know what the advice I kept getting on YouTube and getting from other people? What? Just make more content. The more content you make, the better you'll get. The challenge will grow. No, the channel will grow. That's a lie.
Yeah.
There's actual strategies that no one wants to talk about. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm over it. They'll say, they'll keep throwing the business failure rate out there. This is going to fail, and this is what's going to happen, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but let's talk about how to not fail. Let's talk about how not to fail forward. Like, let's actually just do the thing that makes sense.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
By the way, Kewana, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to make sure our audience knows, is actually aware that they can also post the questions, and we will definitely answer the questions they might have about the business side, the entrepreneurial journey, how to actually build, because it's actually our topic. We want to make sure they're all aware of that. We want to know, and we have you here sharing like golden tips, I would call that, about how to actually build a business team. like what's behind, what's behind that. Yep.
Building,
So they can ask the questions, right, in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Put your questions in the chat.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to building your business team, the first thing you got to look at is your industry.
Right.
Each team is going to look differently. So if I'm speaking to a solopreneur or an entrepreneur that doesn't really have a team yet, and you need to hire your executive assistant, hire an executive assistant that is very knowledgeable about your actual industry. So one of my clients, they're into branding. That's their industry.
Okay.
Do not hire an executive assistant that knows engineering. Hire someone that understands branding, right? Because this person is an extension of you. Hire someone that understands branding. If you're in, a store, retail, hire an executive assistant that understands retail, right?
Right.
This is a person that's going to be an extension of you. And we talk a little bit more about different things in my challenge. I will say really quick as a sideway.
Your challenge is happening on February 24th, right? Yep.
Yes.
We got information here.
If I'm not able to get to all the questions here, when they go to the challenge, they can sign up for VIP. I only have 40 spots for VIP. But in the VIP, you get to ask me your questions for your business. And so I highly recommend it. And I go into depth and we map it out and we talk about it.
Right.
Wherever you're stuck or wherever you need help. So that's February. So if I don't get to all the questions today, they can go and ask me questions there on my challenge VIP. But there are only 40 spots, so you gotta grab them while they're there. Okay. So
well, my wife says it makes sense.
Yeah, well, because I want to make sure I have enough time.
Right.
It's a challenge, so I want to make sure I have enough time to answer well the questions to make sure that they can get to their next level. So
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. So now that's like your executive assistant. But let's say you're like, okay, but what kind of manager would I hire? When you're building out a managerial team, I would start first. I would prioritize your biggest revenue system first.
Okay.
What is that? Is that in your marketing and sales, or is that in like this funnel? Whatever your biggest revenue chunk is, I would hire a manager with the skill sets to manage that, manage the systems and the people concerning that.
Okay.
That's where I would start. And I would take my time to make sure they are the best, because they would be in charge of your biggest money income stream. And then from there, what tends to happen is there's certain departments that businesses will inevitably need. They would inevitably need some sort of legal, some sort of finance, some sort of, we can go on those things later, because those things can be more contracts, your accountant maybe, or a lawyer you may have, and then you may think to bring those in-house a little later, but start with your revenue streams.
Okay.
Right? If your business, like if you're a mentor, coach, consultant, whatever, and you have a sales thing for a certain package that you share, you might need a manager over that. But then you may sell books, and you might need a manager over that. It depends on, like, to be honest, it's hard to tell your specific business, but I'm giving examples.
Sure.
To see the blueprint, and I would have to see all the pieces to say this would be the most beneficial for you to hire in this area, a manager. But either way, you get the idea, the overall concept. That's where you start, and then from there, you always include your manager in the hiring process. You got to make sure that it's a good fit for them as well.
Sure.
Because if it's only a good fit for you, they're going to clash with the manager.
Yeah, then we have a conflict management, right? Yeah.
And if it's only good for the manager, you won't. It may not be the best for the culture of the company.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that is balanced. But yeah, building out a team is very difficult. And can we talk about trying to find people?
Sure.
Because we're in a different time. Okay.
Yeah.
People can make money on YouTube, so a lot of people don't want to work in companies the way that it was back in the industrial age.
Since we're sharing the QR code, Okay. Since we're sharing the QR code, just make sure everybody's actually like aware of the challenge, upcoming challenge that you're gonna have, like growyourbusinesschallenge.live. With this
Yeah.
QR code, by the way, I'm actually inviting everyone watching right now live, or even those actually watching the recording. Well, if they watch before February 24th, right? To try to scan, okay, the QR code. I'm actually gonna try myself and make sure it's actually working, even though we have tested, before. Yep, it works. There you go.
Go
Yes,
ahead and sign up.
it works. It works. Let me show you guys that it really works. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Yep, yes, it does. Yeah, I got it. It works. I just confirmed it. Thank you. So they all can scan. Let me put it back. There you go. Okay, go ahead, Kewana. You were sharing about finding the right people, right?
Yeah, because we're living in a time where people can make money in so many ingenuitive ways
Right.
that to attract people, that's been an issue in the market today. Attracting good workers. And you're going to have to switch your methodologies and switch your strategies in order to regain great workers.
Okay.
One thing I always say is look globally as well. Look globally. We're in a global market today. Half my team is global.
Yeah.
The other part I would say is look at how your benefit structure. This is what I mean. Can they work remotely? Can they have flexibility? If you're a business that focuses more on just outcomes and results as opposed to hourly wage, that might work a little better for you for some of the people you're trying to hire, right?
Okay.
Because people are not behaving the same way they behaved in the industrial age.
Yeah, of course. Things have changed, right? Yeah.
Things have changed. So these are things that we discuss while working with me about ways that we can attract, and as I said, I've helped people build out their teams in a few months after we've tweaked and we saw their blueprint and we've tweaked the different benefits and things and who we're attracting, cast a wide net. Don't just look on LinkedIn. Don't just look on ZipRecruiter.
Right.
Don't just look, cast a wide net. There are companies that actually build out funnels.
Okay.
Funnels to attract people to work with them.
Right.
Amazing. We have to be different. So there are many ways we can help with that as well. But you got to think outside the box to really get great workers in this time.
Or if people are still scared about like the technology side of things, because like nowadays, like you have an online business as well. I do have an online business. We hire teams like globally. We support, we serve, we mentor people like from all over the world, But like for someone starting a business, like, and they don't kind of like the technology side of the business, for example. But by the end of the day, they want to have like an online business. They want to make sure they can actually monetize online and offline. This is one of the reasons why we have this Communicate and Monetize show, right? So what would be your best advice for, to all those people like, still scared, of technology, not really wanting to embrace like the technology side of things?
Can I share a story?
Sure.
Do we have time for a story? I don't know how much time we have. Okay, ready?
By the way, Kewana, before you share a story, you just mentioned about like people working with you. I just want to make sure, because if they're not available to join the challenge, I want to make sure they know that they can also, scan and book a time with you.
Yeah, book a call.
Yeah, book a call. Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Especially for your people, Helder. Your people are my people. I'll take care of them for you.
All right, no problem. There you go.
It's for you. Yeah. So here's the story. I was in grad school at the time, getting my global MBA. That's what I was doing. And I got a job where I was working as a president's assistant. He was on the operations side of things. So it was like my dream job, because literally I'm helping a business owner in operations,
Right.
I thrive there. Like, this is where it's my happy place. And one of the tasks he gave me, he had workers, maybe over 100 workers. It was a white label vitamin shop.
Okay.
So they would fill up the bottles and then put the labels of the companies, you know. So they had about 100 workers, and he had this one task for me that would come up once a month, and it would take up a whole week. And what it was he was still doing a punching card. So we'd take the punching card, we'd check and see how many absences, how many people are tardy, how many people on time. And based on that, it would show metrics of whether or not they're on probation, whether they get a raise, whether they get whatever. That was the thing. And then he would have these monthly reviews. And some would get fired, some would get raises, some would get on probation, that whole thing, right?
Right.
So he showed it to me one time. I did it his way the first month. And then I said, we can systematize this. Like, it doesn't have to take all week. So I created, it was a simple automation.
Right.
Tally these things. And every day, I would just grab the punch cards and I would enter in the information. It would take me all of 10 minutes each day. And so when it was time to come back around,
I love that.
that was supposed to take 5 days. It took me 3 hours.
Wow, I love that.
I went to him and I said, I just saved, how many hours did I save? Let's like, if I work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
If I work 8 hours a day for 5 days, that's 40 hours. And I just saved him 37 hours of my time every month. So that's like, if you put that for 12 months, 444 hours that we could do something else to help his business, right?
Sure.
Anyway, he was floored. He was like, maybe you can help in this thing. So he had me train someone on the system I created, and then moved me and he was going to move me somewhere else. You know what he did? He fired me.
Really?
Yes.
Mindset, right?
Do you know why he fired me?
Why?
I didn't understand it, but I was talking to folks that were like, I believe he was a bit threatened because you built out something he couldn't understand, the technology he couldn't grasp. And I was like, that's equivalent to being afraid of a car.
Yeah.
It's going to help you.
It is.
Now, you may not have the time to learn how the car works. But you can learn how to drive the car.
Right.
Mechanic worry about how it works, how to fix it when it's broken. But you can at least learn how to drive it. So for those that are nervous about technology, just learn how to drive the technology. You can hire tech people to build it, to fix it, to, but at least understand how it runs, how it works, and leverage it. Because businesses that leverage the technology will go faster and go further.
And let me just
behind.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. And let me just summarize and highlight at the same time something here. Most people, we talk about leaders, right? Entrepreneurs, leaders, I think they tend to forget that the use of technology, it's not only just about the technology, it's really about the way you think. If you think in a certain way, like when you feel like, okay, I need to save time, I need my operation to be running like smoothly. Wow, why am I doing this? Because these are like the kind of questions that people usually do not ask themselves. Okay, how much time did I invest? It's like project management, right? Everything is a project, right? So you're managing a project. You want to do something, consider and treat it as a project. So what do you want? Do you want to save time and potentially money? You got to make sure you know the way to think forward in order to make things easier, operations running smoothly. But the other thing is, why should you be afraid? Why should you be scared about the technology? Is it really about the technology? I don't think it's really just about the technology. It's like being able to open your mind and really think differently. Think like in a way that it's really like related to the innovation, saving time, stress, energy, and money. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's really a big deal.
I totally agree.
By the way,
agree.
Kewana, let me just tell you a quick story. And I'm going to tell you,
Right.
you know what? I remember, because I used to work in IT back in the days, right? Even though I'm
Right.
young. When I say back in the days, looks like I'm so old, right? I'm young, I look young. But the thing is that I remember when I first started working in IT, like we're talking like almost 20 years ago. You know what? Even before, I used to think about, okay, wow, like I always loved the idea, even though I did not like know how to do it, I had no clue about it. I used to think about, well, how cool would that be if I did not have to move, like to relocate to to certain places, if I could actually operate and do pretty much everything I wanted to do, like being just staying in the same place. We're talking about remote connection, right? Like right now, I'm in Canada, and you are in the US, even though it's really close, but we're still not in the same country, right? So I used to think about it. Then when when I learned about remote connections in IT, I remember the exact like day, time. It was at lunchtime. My coworker told me, "Helder, you know what? Right now I'm in the in another province." What? I was like shocked. And I asked, "Are you serious?" "Oh yeah, here, check." So in fact, he was just connected to the server in that city, different province.
Right.
Then I was, oh my God, that's so cool. I used to think about it all the time, but I did not even know that it was possible, if you know what I mean. So it's just to demonstrate once again that it's really about the way you think. If you think about something different, proactive, and you don't even know how to put it together, then you can hire a consultant or a technician. But you have to be the one, as an entrepreneur, as a manager, as a leader, be the one to open your mind to the to the innovation and the way things can actually be done even in a better way. Okay.
Or Helder,
Yeah.
this is why
Tell me.
they need to hire a mentor. Because sometimes it's not even that you don't want to open your mind, but some things you just can't even fathom.
Exactly.
Like you just can't. You wouldn't have thought of it if you tried to think about it.
Right.
But when you have a mentor that has seen the playing field, see what's out there already, they can say, "Did you know that this and this existed? That remote connections already exist that you can leverage," and you'd be like, "Wait, what? What is it? What is that? Like, what does that even mean?" Like,
exactly.
How does that work? And now, like, they can literally open your eyes to opportunities you didn't even recognize was there.
Exactly. Because they've done it successfully, right? They've been there, done that. Yeah.
And here's the thing: always get a mentor that has a mentor themselves.
Right. Yeah, that's important.
Because if they think they know it all and they're not getting more information from, it's a dead end street. You're gonna get as far as they can take you, and then that's no further. But like, I remember learning things from my mentor that I'm like, oh, this is a game changer. This will change the game. Things that you didn't even know existed in the realm of, I read a lot of business principles from scripture.
Right.
And one of the questions I ask, I'm like, okay, this is in this economy, like in the scriptures economy, like whatever economy they were in when this was written.
Right.
I said, works there, but what is the equivalent here? And I find myself searching where that equivalent is here in 2025 in the United States, right? Like, where is that? Or around the globe, where is that? And I'll go to my mentor and I'll be like, where is this?
Right.
Here in 2025, and because I know it exists, because it's right here in scripture, there's nothing new under the sun. Where is it? And they will continuously blow my mind. They'll be like, oh, that's like doing X, Y, Z. And I'm just like, that's why you need mentors.
I know. Like, I remember, I just finished like a workshop. It wasn't like a 2 days workshop. Well, it was not in English. It was in Portuguese. And while I was teaching,
Portuguese, was it in French? I love it.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, the way when I was teaching them, like job interviews, like in the networking, how they can actually communicate and really monetize their skills, like they, communicate the value. They were like, oh my God, I never thought about it. I had someone who's been leading a team over at least 17 people, but he did not like highlight that aspect. You've been like for over like more than 5 years, you've been leading this team, like with solid and consistent like results. So it's actually what you're talking about. This is why like challenges, hiring a mentor, a consultant. You are a business growth consultant, And by the way, I want to make sure I have the right QR code here. I know we don't have much time, but we really like want to see the question that we might have. But it really makes all the difference when you have someone who's been there, done that already, a mentor who can actually reduce considerably like your learning curve, because you don't have to spend the next 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years to discover, like what you really need right now in order to boost your business, right? Yep.
That's right. Absolutely.
So do we have questions? Our audience here, I think they're loving what they, learning here. So far, we have no questions. We're going to give like at least 2 to 5 minutes to see if we're going to have questions, unless you'll still have something you want to share here.
Listen, this is my happy place.
I know.
Over these things, because as I said,
Yeah.
before, people have made, their lives have changed. I have a client in the Philippines,
right,
who when she was starting, she was making a couple $100 US dollars a month. She is now making, I want to say, upwards of 10,000 US dollars a month now.
Okay.
That was in less than a year.
Wow.
Because of understanding the structure,
right,
understanding how to put things in place.
Mm-hmm.
That's because of proper coaching.
Right.
Right? It's just, this is global. This is not just, okay, this is here in the US. This is like, these are things that when you put it into place,
right,
it will really help. And so I can geek out about this all day, every day, because I'm all about changing lives. I'm all about getting your actual freedom.
Right.
Because when you start a business, you started it for your freedom. You started it so you wouldn't have to run the rat race in someone else's company. You started it so you can give generational wealth down to your, posterity, generation after generation. That's why you started it, right? And so I'm all about getting that. I really believe that once you know what to do, the steps to take, and you've become the person that can do those steps, it's game over.
Oh yeah,
it's game over.
It is. And mainly like about changing the mindset, like starting a business with an entrepreneur mindset, not actually just like an employee mindset. So you don't have to do everything by yourself. You have to go out there and seek for help from a mentor, a consultant. That's very important.
Think about it, Helder. When you were taking a test in school,
yeah,
right? You were taking a test in school. If you looked on someone else's paper, or if you gave someone else your paper and said fill in the answers, what is that considered?
Cheating, right?
That's cheating, right?
Yeah.
But here's the beauty in business.
It's different.
You know who helps you with your math test?
Yeah.
Your accountant. You just hand them over the numbers.
Right.
That's real life.
It's totally different, right?
Totally different. Like, that's who does my math homework. My accountant. Or my bookkeeper. Or my, that's who does. I need someone to write a great essay to let me. I just send it to my legal department.
Yeah.
They'll put all the legalese. Like, that's what we have to understand, that mentality that we bring to the table, that we were taught in school, and we were being created to be employees. It's a different shift, a different understanding when you are a business owner. Yeah. It doesn't matter the industry. It's a different mindset. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, we do have a few comments here. We have from Joanna Smith, right? Mm-hmm. We're worried. Good. So people actually having fun. They're loving it here. everything we're sharing so far. By the way, let me show them, because I don't want anyone to tell me, Helder, you did not let us know about the challenge. Like, you know, Kewana is having like in February 24th, right? Just want to make sure we have the QR code here, even though we're going to have also the link, the actual link in the comments. Actually, I can share the link with them.
That's good.
Why are we doing that? The only reason is because we want to help as many people as we can.
Absolutely.
But there's like another aspect which is really, really important, is that because sometimes people think, okay, people just want to sell. Well, I want people to pay attention to that. Everyone may potentially sell something, but just make sure if you're investing, not buying, you're investing into a solution. If you're selling, sell a solution, not a problem. That's what we do, right? Sell a solution, not a problem. Yep, tell me.
And can I share that? Share. I did a YouTube video called I don't know. It was about selling your stew.
Right.
Did you see the video?
No, I haven't. When did you do that?
You gotta check it out on my YouTube page, right?
Okay.
It's about, I think it's like how I went from 0 to $1 million.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
And I talked about what you can truly sell to really scale your business.
Okay.
That's a good video. But one thing I wanted to share, whenever you make an investment, you got to remember that it's an investment.
Yeah.
And when you invest in something, you get a return of some sort. Now, some people would say, well, I've invested money in this and I got no return. You always, even if you didn't see a monetary value, you know what you did gain? You gained knowledge on something.
Right.
You needed
experience
to bring it to the next level. So you have to understand that investment. But I like to tell my clients, every client that works with me, we measure your success. And I hound them about it. Like one of my clients, he's like, man, yeah, I do got to write down. I was like, look, you just saved how much? Write that down. Put it. Why? Because you need to see, you need to be reminded that when you invested in this consultant or this client, you got your return.
Yep.
There are a lot of, this is a tip, a last tip I'll give to the business owners. You can keep more clientele and more customers if you have them remind themselves or you remind them of the value you brought to them.
Sure. That's
when
key.
You know it's not a scam. That's when you know it's not fake, because you actually can see the difference. You actually have measurable results.
Yeah, that's true. Let them scan the QR code. It's right here. I thank you so much, Kewana, for being like on this live with me. That was amazing. Amazing.
I know we've been trying to do it for a while. So
by the way, you're my first guest in 2025. You know that, right? I told you.
Yeah, right. Started off correct. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
I love it.
Okay, I'm glad you love it, and I'm glad you're here with us. Sharing all these golden tips. By the way, once again, everyone watching, even if you're watching the recording, like the challenge is gonna, is gonna be on the February 24th. I actually have the flyer here. Oh, not actually February 24th, right? Yeah, February 24th. Well, it's gonna be from 24th to 27th, right?
Yes. And it's between the hours of 11 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. is VIP.
We have Brenda here making a comment. Okay, good. Awesome tips.
The VIP, that's where you can ask questions. I only have 40 spots.
Okay.
That's all I have. Okay. And then we have the general, which is from 12 to 1. That's where, the VIPs can stay, and I'm teaching all these different concepts on a deeper level. So so it's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard during that week. But if you have a situation now where you're like, I can't wait until February, I really need to speak to you about something I'm going through, I'm transitioning, I have issues with my team, I don't know how to get an executive assistant, I'm pulling my hair out, I don't want to close my business, but I'm dying. Whatever you want to do, book a call then. Then just book a call honestly, I barely really do this whole book a call thing, but because I'm here with Helder and he's my good friend.
they have the QR code here. Yeah, they have the QR code. They can actually book a call with you. I think they can see properly, right?
Yeah, so you can
Amazing.
go ahead and book a call, and that call will be with me, won't be with one of my team members. And again, that's strictly because this is Helder's show. Because normally it's like you'll get to my team or something.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm like, this is Helder.
So you guys see, we got a gift here from Kewana, right? You have the opportunity to book a call with her.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
someone is it's actually Joanna is actually asking for the link. I'm gonna make sure I can share the link right now. I think, well, Joanna, I'm not sure if you mentioned talking about the link to the challenge or to book a call. Well, even though you also have like the QR code here, you can actually scan the QR code. Well, depending if she's watching on her mobile, it's gonna be hard. I'm actually sharing right now, like just share the link on the comments. To book a call. She wants to book a call. That's a very good thing.
Yeah.
You know, I love people with the right attitude.
Oh yeah, because I get it. Sometimes you just really need and I'm like, okay, I'll do this for Helder. Helder, you're gonna have to start teaching me Portuguese or helping me straighten up my French.
Tu veux parler français?
Petit peu.
Un petit peu. You get there.
Wait, no.
Je vais t'apprendre le français alors. J'ai oublié. I forgot, right? I forgot, right? J'ai oublié. J'ai oublié mon français.
Beaucoup.
You get there. But you know what? I'm so glad you're here. And this is also, well, even though I don't teach properly exactly the languages, but what I really empower people to do is really to communicate, to monetize their skills online and offline. We all have value. Can want to just demonstrate it to us, all of us watching right now live, or even those who are going to watch the recording. You have a value. You're good enough. Your heart is good enough, but your experience, your skills, they might be good enough. Share it with the world. We don't have, a lot of time in this world. Like 200 years, I don't think we still have like 200 years from now. So use it or lose it, right? So make sure you go out there and help someone else. People who really need your help, go out there and do it. Just like Kewana is doing now. I'm doing that too. And don't forget to really scan the QR code to book a call with Kewana, directly with Kewana. That's a gift and a bonus she's giving us, like all my audience here, because she is in Communicate to Monetize show. I love that.
I love Helder's show. So okay. Thank you so much, Helder, for having me.
No, I thank you. I thank you.
It was so much fun. It was totally worth the fun time.
Sure. And we want to thank the audience here. They've been participating, asking questions, like making comments here in the chat. So we want to thank everyone for your time. And if you're watching the recording, make sure you scan the QR code if that's something that really resonates with you, or you just click. We want to make sure like that we're going to have the links, both links actually for the upcoming challenge, and also the link to book a call with Kewana McDonald. Kewana, it was a pleasure.
It was great.
Thank you so much. Helder. There you go. See you next time, because I will be inviting you again.
Yes.
All right, here you go. Bye everyone, and see you next time. By the way, I will let my team confirm by next week if we're going to have a new guest. We will be announcing, but just stay tuned. Not every Thursday, but usually we do it on Thursdays, so we can help more people. See you next time, everyone.